Welcome back to BarberShop Therapy. I'm your host, Jimmy Evans, and we're back for 2023. February, we missed out on January, but we're back here now with a special guest, Mr. Patrick Lyons of the organization 100 Black Men of America. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in, man. We got a lot to talk about this year. Something exciting is really going on. We talk about initiatives for black men. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the organization that you represent.
Okay, well, I serve as treasurer of the Triangle East chapter of the 100 Black Men of America. I've been in the organization for about 15 years.
Okay.
And I was brought in by one of the founders of the chapter to do some financial literacy workshops, and I just got really involved with the Economic Empowerment Committee. But I guess to kind of step back and just kind of give a history of the organization, the national organization was started back in 1963, and it was kind of during the civil rights movement where, you know, blacks were still going through some struggles in the community, and the organization wanted to it was a grassroots organization that wanted to try to improve the economic conditions of blacks as well as enhance educational opportunities for our youth. And some of the notable founders of the organization were David Dinkins, who was the first black mayor of New York City, and baseball legend Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
And so it started off kind of in New York, and it stayed kind of up in the north for the 60s and 70s. It started becoming a national organization in the 80s, and today the headquarters is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
How
many chapters do you have currently, do you know?
There are about 100 chapters worldwide. I think it's about 98 to be exact, but it's roughly 100.
Okay.
And, you know, I think some people think that's why we call it 100 Black Men, because it's 100 chapters, but it started because 100 was kind of that show of solidarity, of unity. So a lot of times we say keep it at 100 because,
Okay.
you know, we want to,
Absolutely.
keep it real and everything. So, but there are about 100 chapters nationwide. In the state of North Carolina, we have 5 chapters.
That's good to know. Where are they located? In North Carolina?
Well, we have the Triangle East, which serves Raleigh-Durham. We have Charlotte. We have Greenville, Fayetteville, and Wilmington.
Okay. So you've been a part of this now, I said 15 years. What sparked you to get into it?
I really the economic empowerment piece of it, because I wrote a personal finance book a number of years ago geared toward teens and college students on personal finance and trying to help them get on a right path as far as budgeting and credit and, you know, saving for the future. And so I've been involved with a lot of the programs. So I do economic empowerment workshops at some of the local high schools and some of the colleges around here, trying to target the black population. We also, in our program, we have what is called the stock market game. This is our 3rd year doing it, and one of our sponsors gives us money to, you know, put on these workshops and give our mentees money for winning. And so they get a play portfolio of about $100,000, and they get to they get to pick stocks, and it's almost like real time, because this is what I do for a living. I'm a financial advisor, and so I invest my clients' money, and this platform that they give them is very realistic. They can buy stocks, they can sell them, and so we use a program to teach them not only about the stock market, but also teach them about budgeting, about credit, and just the importance of starting early as far as your savings, because I always point out that if you start saving, if you just save $3 a day from the time you're 16 until the time you're 60, you have a really good shot at becoming a millionaire.
Okay.
But if you wait until you're 30 years old, it's going to take $300 a month. And then if you wait until you're 40, it's going to be $900 a month. So we try to instill the focus that putting time on your side will help you out. And so and then, you know, at the end of the contest, all the mentees walk away with money. And so they get anywhere from $100. I think last year, the biggest winner walked away with $900. And so that's a good start to get, you know, your investment future started. And
Absolutely. So when you're involving these young men, how many young men would you estimate over the years that you have serviced in your program?
Ooh, wow. That's a good question. Right now, we have about 60 mentees in the program, but I would say it averages anywhere from 60 to 100 per year.
Okay, so what's the duration that a average young man would be in your program? I noticed that some of the ages you start at are from 6th grade to 12th grade.
Yeah, and so we have a lot of our mentees will start off in sixth grade and they will stay through the whole program.
That's amazing.
But yeah, and we try to incentivize them by giving them scholarships for college, because if you graduate from our program, you're guaranteed some type of scholarship. All you got to do is just apply. It's not like you're going to get turned down, and we've given out over $400,000 in scholarships over the years.
So with the young men that are involved in your program, what are the requirements for them to be a part of your program?
It's really just you fill out an application, and then we do a parent interview, because we want to make sure the parents are committed to the process, and we also interview the mentees to make sure that they're going to be committed as well. But a lot of the focus is on the parent, because we want to make sure that they're going to be committed to bringing their kids to the
That's
program.
A major component right there, is having the parents buy into any program that you do. So what are the challenges with the parents opposed to the children that you're servicing?
The parents are actually been great, and we get a lot of testimonials every time we do one of these Saturday Academy sessions with our mentees about how great the program is. And some of them are telling us stories how their kids used to not want to get up on Saturday morning to come to these sessions, and now they're just really excited about coming. And the sessions usually go from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. But a lot of times they end up going over because of the discussion. The mentees enjoy the discussion. Like last session, we were talking about job readiness skills. Creating a resume, how to shake your hand. Look somebody in the eye and do a firm handshake.
Basic skill sets.
Yeah, and this is stuff that we weren't really taught growing up, and so we're trying to impart these skills to our young men so that they can go in this world and be strong leaders.
Okay. So 100 Black Men have started a health initiative in February. Could you tell us more about what the goal is with that initiative?
Well, we have a couple of programs we're working on. We have a partnership with the American Heart Association, where they've given us a curriculum called Empowered to Serve, and it's a series of about 10 different topics that on healthy living that we can share with the community. And we also have another partnership with our national organization called Take Action for Health, and we're kind of combining these two together. And the Take Action for Health program is we're basically trying to get Black males to get their health screenings, because a lot of us we have this mistrust for the medical field, and so we're trying to get people to get in there, get your baseline information, get your screening, so you can find out early if you do have prostate cancer or whatever situation. Maybe you might have high cholesterol and you can
heart
be
problems.
Yeah,
there are all kinds of health issues that we have in our community, but again, like you said, being afraid to go to the doctor,
right?
Based on past indiscretions
and
with Black men.
And it makes a lot of sense, because
it's valid. But the fear is that if we show more doctors that look like us, that would be helpful. But that's not always the case. But we still have to go. Knowing is better than not knowing.
Right, and so another part of the program with this Empowered to Serve curriculum is we're trying to provide education. So we have a partnership with the YMCA in the Triangle, where we're doing these workshops on a weekly basis this month to let people know about getting active, because that can help reduce your risk of heart disease and stroke. This week we're going to talk about healthy eating, because unfortunately we don't eat well like we should.
And it costs a lot to eat well.
It does, yeah.
And it's easy to go out here to fast food, grab something for your kids, for yourself, for your family, and that contributes to all our underlying causes of our health.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's cheaper to go to the fast food restaurant as opposed to buying fruits and vegetables. But we're trying to encourage people to eat the rainbow, so eat different colored fruits and vegetables. Try to avoid the starchy starchy vegetables, and expand your horizon. Eat some Brussels sprouts, eat some cabbage, eat stuff like that. And And it's gonna be a challenge because like I said, I grew up, and a lot of times if I was in a hurry, I'd go to a fast food place. I didn't have time to cook.
That's why it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to do bad things. It's hard to do things that are healthy for you. That's been the plight, from 1970s when they started introducing the fast food concepts.
Right.
So now in 2023, they're faster, quicker, a lot less. Well, I would say cheaper, but now everything is going up.
Yeah.
So it's almost equals out to eat healthy versus get out here and eat fast food, because it's going to cost you almost the same thing.
Yeah, and I've heard some people tell me that, I just kind of have a food budget, so I will just, if I can eat out, I'll use it that way, or maybe I buy groceries. But a lot of people do eat out because, like if you're single, like, why spend the time cooking for just yourself? And so
wasting food, leftovers.
Right.
Yep. Okay. So you just created this for this month, the initiative for healthy eating. Who are some of your speakers that'll be participating over the next few weeks in the rest of the initiatives?
Well, with this particular initiative, I'm the one that's kind of doing the seminars on that. So I'll be doing these for this month, and then we have a partnership with another YMCA in March and April where we're going to kind of deliver these same workshops. And we're going to also, in addition to the getting active in the healthy eating, we're going to also talk about reducing sugary drinks, because there are so many. I mean, you go down the aisles, you got all these sodas, all these sports drinks, and they're filled with sugar. And so we're trying to, growing up, you basically had water and Gatorade, and you only had like one or two flavors of Gatorade.
Yeah, the basics, the Coca-Colas, the Pepsis, the real sugary drinks that you really shouldn't be drinking.
Right.
So now, what other resources will you be bringing to this forum, giving people like different information as far as like nutritionists, or you add any nutritionists to the seminar?
Well, we're actually going to have a chef come to our session on this week, and he's actually going to be bringing some vegetable dishes and some plant-based meals.
Okay.
So we're, and then last week at the Y, we had a fitness trainer come and demonstrate some exercises, things that you can do.
For those guys, because I'll stretch something and it'll break.
Well, yeah. Well. See, the thing is, he was talking about things like you can just sometimes like doing squats and things like that. But because a lot of times people make excuses that hey, I don't have time to go work out, and just simple things like walking. Or if you're at work in a building, taking the steps.
That's a good point. I have a few clients that are trainers, and they're just talking about functional movements. Being able to just bend down properly, to twist properly, know how to use your back and your knees, opposed to being able, especially getting up in years.
Yeah.
You wanna know how your body functions at its maximum capacity.
Right.
And a lot of us don't. We bend at the waist. We
Yeah.
reach and grab something and twist, and you hear somebody holler. So.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent thing to do, is just teach people functionality of your own body, especially as your age progresses.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just as simple as just standing up, because a lot of us sit down most of the day, and that sedentary stuff that your body gets tight, your legs and hamstrings and all that. So getting up and, like you said, doing a little bit of stretching, that can help. And
do they recommend, did the trainer recommend any type of like time frame? Like if you're sitting for 3 hours at a time, should you get up and stretch every hour on the hour just to get
he was saying if you've been sitting for like an hour, try to get up and just even if it's just a little stretch your back or whatever, but just get up. And and then they also talked about just kind of exercise recommendations, as far as trying to get in about 75 minutes of exercise per week, which, you think about, that's like a little over 20 minutes a day. And, you can take a short walk, 20-minute walk, and you get that in just like that. So, but going to your point about as you get older, one of the things I'm focusing on, because I'm a yoga teacher, and
man, you just do everything. That's good stuff. Go ahead, tell me more.
And so one of the things it was pointed out to me over the summer that as you get over 60, you have a greater risk of falling, and so a lot of seniors fall, and so I've been trying to incorporate balancing poses. So we're doing the 10-second balancing challenge. So you balance on each leg for 10 seconds a day, and it's supposed to reduce your risk of falls over time, but more importantly, it increases your life expectancy, because as you get older, you fall a lot.
Yeah. That's one of the main causes of hospitalization, even death. Based on how advanced your age is.
Yeah.
So could you say a little bit more about the importance of that balance aspect? Because I know young kids that don't have good balance. So as they get older, I'm quite sure it's just gonna get worse.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with this American Heart Association thing. They say that inactive kid is going to grow up and be an inactive adult, and so it's important to make sure you stay active. But the whole thing about the balancing is that when you fall, you don't necessarily. A lot of times we don't think that we're hurting anything, but it can mess up your brain and mess up other organs in your body, and so you keep on falling as you get older. It just causes a whirlwind of problems. So
it's a snowball effect to your body. And then you end up with major issues once you get older.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, Patrick, I'm looking forward to this, man, because we're doing an actual collaboration with BarberShop Therapy coming up pretty soon with 100 Black Men. Could you say more about what's coming up in March?
Yeah, we're going to do a roundtable, and we're going to try to just bring some community leaders together from different organizations and just talk about some of these issues that are present in the Black community. I mean, the health issue. We're going to have some mental health people. I know you're going to bring some other folks there as well.
Yes, sir.
And so we're just, it's a round table to just kind of talk about some issues and see if we can collaborate further, because, the 100 Black Men in the Triangle, we do a lot of good programs, but I think that we can't operate as an island. I mean, we need to get out there and collaborate with other like-minded organizations that are doing things like yourself and other organizations, and try to expand our reach. And so, definitely looking forward to this partnership.
I think that is one of the biggest things that BarberShop Therapy really wants to hone in on, right? Is adding more organizations, adding more resources, adding more support towards Black males, young Black males, older Black males in general, because as we see, the Black female community is well supported at this point. This is a great opportunity for them to move forward, but I'm not wanting to negate what's going on in that community, but I want to work in conjunction. So as a family, we're moving together,
right,
and not just one gender over another.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things that I've seen over the last 30 years of me cutting hair, is hearing a lot of Black men not feel supported in any manner. And I think I asked you this question on a Zoom call, how many other organizations can you name that support Black men in the Triangle area? And it was hard to come across those names, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a couple of other organizations that we're going to introduce on the 15th, like Day-to-Day Dads, Fathers Forever. But your organization has been one of the pillars and well organized groups over the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And so we want to piggyback on the success that you've had, the mentorship, and not have to reinvent the wheel, but also give that mental health hand to Black males that we typically only had in a barbershop. That was the only space you can go out and get information that we're trying to give out now. But if we can come together as multiple groups and create an empowering moment for Black men to be more prevalent in their households, be better dads, be better husbands, I think what we're trying to do can grow some legs and really take off running.
Yeah.
And I'm excited, and I appreciate you coming in, taking the time to start this conversation and hopefully move it forward in the coming months.
Yeah, and I guess on the mental health piece, I'm excited that you're going to have Victor Jones coming in a couple of weeks. He's a mental health professional, and as you mentioned, in the black male community, we think that it's kind of a show of softness when you need help, but it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to talk to a mental health professional when you're not feeling good. And that's another one of our focuses for this year, not just for the men, but for our mentees too, because they're going through a lot of struggles too, with COVID and everything. This is something that, the kids in school, they're going to remember this for the rest of their lives.
They desperately are grasping at straws right now with the suicide rate amongst teens, preteens, even kids in elementary school are having a problem identifying mental health issues. And a lot of the teachers, staff of schools, they're not familiar with it. Right. So how can you help these kids if we're not actually getting information to the parents, to the faculty, and to the children where, everybody's working together? And I think what we're doing here is an important component in that. If we can start giving more prevalent information versus just, spotty stuff that's not really giving the kids a run to start.
Right. And we're going to actually just promo our health fair in April 22nd. We're going to have a health fair at the Wake Tech on Lewisburg Highway. And we're going to have a mental health professional talk with our kids because that's something that we haven't really done, and they need it. And hopefully this can be an ongoing thing because you don't just need mental health today. I mean, it's an everyday thing.
It's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned that part because with and just recently I'm forming a nonprofit with BarberShop Therapy called the BarberShop Therapy Foundation, and we're going to focus around haircut programs for kids in school from ages K through 12. But also in the program, we're going to address the same thing you just talked about, is having group conversations with our youth in school and find out what their issues are and use the current system that's in place to give them more support and resources if they need it in school or out of school. Yeah. Bigger than that, I think, is we have to include the parents because parents have to have buy-in to programs for kids to actually utilize it and it be truly effective to make their lives better as children and enjoy their lives as a kid.
Yeah,
and it's so scary to see parents that parent out of frustration and that children pay the price.
Right.
Because we got a lot of stresses as parents.
I mean, it's just, we're dealing with racism, we deal with,
our
jobs,
our spouses, our kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but coming up, we didn't talk about mental health.
Yeah. It wasn't cool, especially for black men to talk about.
Right. And so if we did have someone in our family that was dealing with a mental health issue, they kind of got pushed to the back room. And not really, hey, when they're going through it, we're just going to lock them in the room. And
you just figure it out.
Just figure it out. But how do you figure out something when you don't know what the problem is?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we can give people a much needed resource and through these collaborations and through, the systems that are already in place, because we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of things out there that will help support us in this effort. But as a one entity or one organization, like you said, you don't want to be an island. We've been an island for way too long. We always, as a group of black people, we've always attacked issues separately.
Right.
We've never had the ability to work well together, especially as black men. The distrust that's being maturated throughout history for us not to trust one another. I think this is a great opportunity for us to start working together as organizations and individuals to possibly move an initiative that can do some big things, man. And I'm excited, and again, appreciative that we can start this conversation.
Yeah.
CJ is one of my clients, and I think he's the secretary.
Yeah.
And when I brought it to CJ, he was like, "Hey, man, I'll throw it at him and see what's stick to the wall." And here we are today, and I'm really appreciating the back and forth with it, the ideas, and I'm looking forward to this roundtable session we're having in March 15th coming up. So we've covered a lot of ground here, and I want to wrap it up, but we're gonna have another opportunity to move this forward again. Now, is there anything about 100 black men adding to your numbers? How do you add apply to become a member of 100 Black Men of America?
Well, you can go to our website, 100bmte.org, and there's
could you do that one more time and look into that camera right there? This one right here.
Okay. Yeah, you can go to our website, 100bmte.org, and there's information on there where you can apply. We're actually having an informational this Saturday at the Wake Tech campus in Morrisville.
Okay.
And it's going to be from 10 to 12:30. So for people who are interested, they can come out. We'll do an informational, tell you about what the organization is about. And if you're interested, you can actually do an interview, because that's part of the process that, you have to be interviewed prior to becoming.
How long is your interview session?
It's really informal. It's really kind of like a conversation. We're trying to learn about them, and they're trying to learn about us. So it's just, it's not really like a structured type of thing. But, it's a great opportunity. We're trying to increase our numbers after COVID. We kind of took a hit with people, and then we also had some members move out of the area. Okay. So we're on a recruitment drive. So
with recruiting, are your meetings held virtually or in person?
We do a hybrid model, so you have the option to come in person if you like, but we also, if you want to do Zoom, because we service the Triangle area, and there are some people that may not live where it's convenient to make it to the Wake Tech meetings, and so they can just dial in on Zoom and.
All right. Well, that's amazing, man. Listen, Patrick, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast today, man. We're coming back after 2022 was a long year.
Yes. Tough year.
A lot of tough things have happened, and rolling into 21, we've had a few incidents that have shaken the faith of black people again in our justice system.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these things are going to continue to happen, but with collaboration with organizations like yours and moving our initiative to strengthen more support for black males with what we're trying to do now, I'm hoping we can make a difference.
And I'm excited. I think we will make a difference, and I'm definitely excited about this partnership and expanding our reach. And so
absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to BarberShop Therapy. This is the start of something exciting, and we look forward to having more people join us. Again, this is BarberShop Therapy. I'm Jimmy Evans, your host, and we cut through the problems. BarberShop Therapy.